Morning, students.
Good morning.
Turn to page 45, question number 4. Page 45, question 4. Now, today, most of the questions will be based on your theory of constraints. Different types of questions will be covered here. Starting with the first one. Gupta Limited produces 4 products, P, Q, R, and S, by using 3 different machines, X, Y, and Z. Each machine capacity is limited to 6,000 hours per month. So you can underline that. Capacity restricted to 6,000 hours per month. The details given below are for the month of July. You are given the selling price per unit, variable cost per unit, machine hours required per unit for X, Y, and Z, expected demand in units, 200 for all the 4 products. Find out the bottleneck activity, that is the first thing. Second, allocate the machine hours on the basis of bottleneck. And third, ascertain the profit expected in the month if the monthly fixed cost amounts to 9,50,000. And also calculate the unused spare hours of each machine. Whenever a question is given in the examination, not necessary that you should go in the same order. You may change the order and you may solve the question as per your convenience. But all the 4 things have to be highlighted in your answer. For example, I will take question 4, that is the part 4, along with part 2. So as I'm allocating the machine hours, I will also calculate the spare hours. Okay. So like that, I can combine any 2 parts of the question as per my requirements, as per my statements. I can classify them and show them together. So my first job is to find out the bottleneck activity. So how to find out the bottleneck activity? I've told you in the last lecture. Indicators of constraint. 3 indicators I've told you. Either that the machine has got the minimum capacity, or that there is large amount of work in progress, stock of work in progress collected at a particular point, or that particular machine is being utilized more than other machines. Then that is a bottleneck activity. Okay. So nothing is visible from the question itself. Nothing is visible from the question itself. So that means I will have to prepare a statement either showing that there is a WIP at the end of some process, or showing that that particular machine is having the minimum capacity, or showing that that particular machine is more utilized than other machines. So one of these 3 indicators have to be shown by you. Okay. So we will prepare a small statement for this. How to prepare? I'll tell you. Prepare a statement like this. 8 columns. Here the heading, computation of machine utilization. Computation of machine utilization. Here you will be writing the 3 machines. Time required for products. Four products of the PQRS. So total time, I can take this as total time taken. Total time available and total machine utilization. Three machines are there. X, Y, and Z. Now, time required for the 3 products, for the 4 products. How to calculate? Let us go back to the question. So if I'm talking about machine X now, let us look at the row 1, entire machine X row. So how to calculate the time required for each product? 20 into 200. Okay, 20 into 200. Per unit we are requiring 20 hours. I require to produce 200 units. So 20 into 200, that will be 4,000. For product Q, it will be 12 into 200. For product R, it will be 4 into 200. For product S, it will be 2 into 200. So that is for machine X. Like that, I will do for machine Y also, machine Z also. Okay. So let us work it out now. So in the first case, I will get 4,000. 4,000 hours. 12 into 2 is 2,400. So 2,400 hours. Then 800 hours. 400 hours. So time taken, total of all this, 6,400, 7,200, 7,600. How much is the time available per machine? It is 6,000 hours. Do the machine utilization. 7,600 divided by 6,000 into 100. Take up to 2 decimals. Get 126.67%. Second one. Take the machine Y now, second row, multiplied by 200 units. So this will come to 4,000 units, 4,000 hours, 3,600 hours, 1,200 hours, 600 hours. So this will be 9,400 hours. Time available is 6,000. Calculate the machine utilization. $156.67%. Last one. 4,000 hours. 1,200 hours. 400 hours. And 200 hours. 5,600, 5,800. Okay. So indicators of constraint. Number one, it is minimum capacity. Minimum capacity. Second, stock of WIP. Third, maximum utilization. So now maximum utilization of the machines, of the three machines X, Y, and Z. Machine Y is being utilized maximum. Okay. So machine utilization is maximum for Y. So Y is the bottleneck activity. Okay. So write down. Machine Y has maximum utilization. Machine Y has maximum utilization. Therefore, it represents bottleneck activity. It represents bottleneck activity. Thus, product ranking and resource allocation. Product ranking and resource allocation should be based on machine hours of machine Y. Machine hours of machine Y. Okay. So this is the first part of the question, asking for bottleneck activity. We have given them the bottleneck activity. Now the second part is allocation of the machine hours, ranking of products, and finding out how much of machine hours can be utilized. Can we produce all 200 units of all the four products, or do we have to curtail the production of any particular commodity? Okay. So for that, I will prepare a statement showing allocation of machine hours. Prepare like this. Particulars and 6 columns. Particulars and 6 columns. Statement showing allocation of machine hours. Four products, PQRS. Here I will show machine utilization, . And last column I will show spare capacity. Ready? We start with selling price. Selling price per unit. 10,000, 8,000, 6,000, 4,000. Minus variable cost per unit 7,000, 5,600, 4,000, and 2,800. Selling price minus variable cost will give you contribution. Per unit 3,000, 2,400, 2,000, 1,200. Now what we'll do is machine Y should be taken as a basis. So this will come. So what I will do is I will be writing time required in machine Y. So on the basis of that, we have to do the allocation. So time required in machine Y 20, 18, 6, and 3 hours per unit of each of the 4 commodities. So let us write down that. Time required in machine Y 20 hours, 18 hours, 6 hours, 3 hours. Remember, in marginal costing, we used to do similar questions, not the same one, but similar questions where limiting factor used to come. What we used to do after we calculate contribution per unit, we used to calculate contribution per limiting factor. Same thing we are doing here also. So I'll do contribution per machine hour. Contribution per machine Y hour. 3,000 divided by 20. It will be 150. 2,400 divided by 18. 133.33. 2,000 divided by 6. 333.33. 1,200 divided by 3. 400. So ranking is done on the basis of contribution, not per unit, but contribution per limiting factor. And here the limiting factor is number of hours of machine Y. Everything is taken on the basis of machine Y. So limiting hours of machine I. So which is giving me the maximum contribution per hour. Product S is given. So I'm doing the ranking here. This will come first. Second will be 333. Third will be 150. Last will be product Q, 130. So that means first I will produce product S, then I will produce product R, then if time permits, product P, then if time permits, to whatever extent Q is possible. I may not be able to produce entire 200 units. Let us see what is possible. Allocation of machine Y hours. Okay. Now, for machine Y, how much time I will take? How much time I will take for getting the work done? Let us see the first statement. For machine Y, if I look at machine Y, I have to look at this one, this one. This 600 hours fully I will utilize for product S. I'm producing S first. So entire 600 hours for S will be going. Second, I'm producing R. So I will consume entire 1200 hours. Third, I'm producing P. So entire 4000 hours. How many hours are taken now? 1200 plus 600, 1800 plus 4000, 5800.
5,800.
So now how much is balance for Q? Only 200 hours. Because total hours is restricted to 6000. Okay. So I will take full 600 of S, full 1200 of R, full 4000 of P, and this I can take only 200 hours because my maximum number of hours is restricted to 6000. Follow? So let us write down that. First I'll write down 600 of S and 1200 of R, 4000 of P, and I will write 6000 in the utilization column now. 6000 hours, 4000, 5200, 5800 minus 6000 is your balance in 200 hours. Okay. Now, therefore, how many units of P, Q, and R and S can be produced? Production. I'll write here production. In units. How many can I produce? Okay. What will I do? 4000. What I have to take? 4000 divided by 20. 4000 divided by 20. Time required in Y. So 200 units I can produce fully of P. Come to R. 1200 divided by 6. 200. Come to S. 600 divided by 3. 200. That means I can meet the demand of P, R, and S. Q, I will not be able to meet the full demand because when I divide 200 divided by 18, I can have maximum 11.11 units. Maximum 11.11 units. So the production of all the four commodities has been decided on the basis of machine Y number of hours available. Machine Y number of hours available. Okay. Now, on the basis of machine Y, we have decided the production. So also let us now decide the time required of machine X and the time required of machine Z. Y is already decided. Y is already decided. 2018 600. Okay. And on the basis of that, we have decided the number of units also. Allocation of machine Y has already taken place here. But now allocation of machine X, number of hours for each product, and allocation of machine Z, number of hours for each product. How do we do that? Machine X, the same thing will come. 4,000, this will come. This 4,000 will come. This 800 will come. This 400 will come. And then I will see how much of Q is going to be coming. Okay. So how many hours are required of machine X per unit? 12 hours. Machine X per unit, 12 hours, as per your table given in the question. 12 hours into how many units? 11.11. So 11.11 into 12 hours, I will take for product P. Okay. Same way for machine Z. This 4,000 will come full. This 400 will come full. This 200 will come full. Okay. For Q, we require 6 hours per unit. 6 hours per unit. And how many units you have manufacturing? 11.1 into 6 hours. Point is clear? Okay. So now let us do the allocation of machine X hours and machine Z hours. I'll continue here. Allocation of machine X hours for PQRS. This will come, entire 4,000 will come. This entire 800 will come. This entire 400 will come. For this, I told you 11.11 into 12. 133.32. 133.32. So tell me how much of hours of machine X is utilized, machine utilization. Total of all this. 4,000 plus 1,200 is 5,200, 5,333.32. 33 it should be. No? 5,333.33. Just check the calculations. Speed to sir. So out of 6,000 hours available, minus 5,333.32. Spare capacity 666.68. Spare capacity. Last column we have not entered up till now. Last column is spare capacity. 6,000 minus 5,333. 6,000 is the total maximum number of hours available for each machine. Next one, machine Z hours. This 4,000 will come as this. This 400 will come as this. This 200 will come as this. Here it is going to be 11.11 into 6 hours per unit. So that will be half of this. So it will be 66.67. 667. So plus 4,000 plus 400 plus 200. 4,666.66. Minus this from 6,000. Get 1,333.37. So you have done question, that is part 2 and part 4 together. Part 4 they had asked for spare capacity. So both of that you have done together. Okay, allocation of hours you have done, and you have also done along with that the calculation of spare capacity. Okay, now they have asked for profitability. Part 3 of the question was profitability. Ascertain the profit expected in the month if the monthly fixed cost was 9,50,000. So what we will do, we'll calculate contribution per unit of each of the 4 products. Take the total, multiply by number of units that we are going to actually produce. That is 200 of P, 11.11 of Q, 200 of R, and S 200 units. The production units are calculated by us, multiplied by contribution per unit, which we have already calculated. Okay, contribution per unit we have already calculated. Where we have calculated contribution per unit. 3,000, 2,400, 2,000, 1,200. We have calculated that. Okay, so it is already here. So I take these figures, multiply to these figures, and get total contribution. Once I get total contribution, minus from that the fixed cost of 9,50,000, you will get the profit. Contribution minus fixed cost is equal to profit. So let's do that. 3,000 into 200, 2,400 into 11.11, like that we'll do. So right here, calculation of expected profit. Calculation of expected profit. For P, we are manufacturing 200 units. Contribution is 3,000 per unit. So this will come to 6 lakhs. For Q, it is 11.11 into 2,400 contribution per unit, 26,664. For R, it is 200 units. Contribution per unit is 2,000. So it is 4 lakhs. And for S, it is 200 units into contribution per unit is 1,200. So 24, that is 2,40,000. Ten lakhs, 12 lakhs, 66,664. 12 lakhs, 66,664. Minus from this fixed cost, 9,50,000. So 3,16,664 is the expected profit. Okay. Any difficulty? If you have anything that you have not understood, please ask me. As possible, as far as possible, I try to simplify the calculations. Maybe that certain times I may be going a little bit fast, or maybe I'm missing out something. If you have not understood, please ask me. Then let us go to the next question. Question number 5. So this was a May 2013 question. It was an examination problem. So you can see that all questions which are there. This is November 2008 question. So most of my questions are past exam questions. So you can get a feel of, when you're doing the past exam questions, you know what type of questions are asked. So rather than putting my own questions, it is better. I will be putting some of my own questions also. But what type of questions are asked in the examination, that you should know. So you are exam oriented and you are exam prepared. So what you can expect in the examination, what variety can be expected, what a level of questions can be expected in the examination, that you can understand from the nature of the questions. Sometimes questions are very simple, very easy, very small. Sometimes questions are a little bit lengthier than you anticipate. But as I told you, the more dangerous part is not the questions, but the case studies. And of late, recent questions, if you see, most of the questions, I would say 70% of your question paper is in the form of a case study. So that is why, it becomes difficult to identify which topic the question is related to. You cannot separate, because it looks like one big hodgepodge where everything is involved, where all the concepts are involved. So that becomes a little bit difficult to identify. So nowadays, the questions are more of a case study type, less of topic-oriented question. If you get a topic-oriented question, it's a bonus one, because that will be quite simple to solve. But in most of the questions, as I told you, be prepared for combination of more than one topic in the examination as one question. Okay. Let us come to question 5. A company produces 3 products A, B, and C. Now, since you have done question 4, this will become much more simpler, because it's a smaller version of question 4. Question 4, there were 4 parts. So this is one of the parts you can see. Company produces 3 products A, B, and C. The following information is available. Contribution per unit is given. So directly they have given you the contribution, no need to calculate. Machine hours required per unit of production is given. Machine 1, machine 2, machine 3, along with TAR. TAR is actually your throughput accounting ratio. You can also call this part as a part of your machine utilization. You can write the machine utilization. Okay. So machine utilization is given 133.33% of 1, 200% of machine 2, and 66.67% of machine 3. Estimated sales demand for A, B, and C are 500 units each, and machine capacity, there it was 200 units each, here it is 500 units each. Machine capacity is limited to 6,000 hours for each machine. You are required to analyze the above information and apply theory of constraints process to remove the constraints. How many units of each product will be made? So, question is limited to a part of question 4. Now, here what has happened? Your first statement is already calculated and prepared and given to you. So, machine utilization, you know that this is maximum over here. So, bottleneck is at machine 2. Correct? Machine utilization is already calculated and given to you. So, whichever machine has got the highest utilization, that is a bottleneck activity. So, machine 2 is a bottleneck activity. Restriction is 6,000 hours. Only you have to calculate how many units are to be produced. That's it. That's the question. Okay. So, for this, we are having 6 months. Right? So, let us see how to do this. First, you'll have to write down. So, write down. From the given data. From the given data, we can observe that Machine utilization. The machine utilization is maximum for machine 2. Is maximum for machine 2. Hence, machine 2 is bottleneck activity. Machine 2 is bottleneck activity. Total hours available for machine 2 is 6,000 hours. So now prepare a statement with 3 particulars and 3 columns for the 3 products A, B, and C. Contribution per unit, 30, 25, and 50. Machine 2 hours required per unit. 15, 3, and 6. So contribution per machine 2 hour. 30 divided by 15 is 2. 25 divided by 3 is 8.33. And 15 divided by 6 is 2.5. Maximum is given by B, so that is 1. Second is by C, so that is 2. Third is by A, so that is 3. Allocation of machine 2 hours. 500 into 6. 500 into 3. Total how much is available? 6,000. So this will give me 4,500. Balancing figure is 1,500. Balancing figure is 1,500. Okay. So production. How to calculate production now? 3000 this by this. 3000 divided by 6 is 500. 1500 divided by 3 is 500. And 1500 divided by 15 is 100. So we are going to manufacture 100 units of A, 500 units of B, and 500 units of C. Done? A simple question. It is a part of question 4 actually. Question 4, there were 4 parts. So this is only one part of question 4. Question 6. Again, it's an examination question. November 2010. PP Limited produces a product which passes through 2 processes, cutting and finishing. Following data is given. Hours available per annum 50,000 and 60,000. Hours needed per unit of product 5 hours per unit and 12 hours per unit for cutting and finishing respectively. Fixed operating cost per annum excluding the direct cost. 10 lakhs for both the machines, for both the processes. The selling price of the product is 1000 rupees per unit, and the only variable cost per unit is direct materials, which cost 400 per unit. The selling price is given to you as 1000, variable cost, which is direct materials, 400. So contribution will be equal to 600. Evaluate each of the following proposals independently, separately. That means they are not related to each other. First proposal, an outside agency is willing to do the finishing operation of any number of units between 5,000 and 7,000 at 400 rupees per unit. Second, an outside agency is willing to do the cutting operation of 2,000 units at 200 rupees per unit. And third, additional equipment for cutting can be bought for rupees 10 lakhs to increase the cutting facility by 50,000 hours, with annual fixed cost increased by 2 lakhs. So now what we will do is, have they given me the bottleneck activity? No. So the first thing that I will need to do is, I will have to calculate the bottleneck activity first. Now, how do I know? Now, suppose this problem comes to the examination. How do I know it is throughput costing? Because they have said only variable cost is direct materials. Immediately it should strike you. Only variable cost is direct material means that it has got something to do with theory of constraints, throughput accounting. Right? So they will not. This is how you identify a question in the examination. They will not be telling you which particular topic it is going to come from. But you have to identify by some hint that is given in the question. So you know that this is a question of throughput costing. This is a question of theory of constraints. You have to find out the bottleneck activity first. So first you will have to find out the bottleneck activity. So let us see how to do calculation of bottleneck activity. I will write capacity in units. Is equal to hours available upon hours required. Per unit. Okay, I'll take cutting process. How many hours are available for cutting process? 50,000. And what is the requirement per unit? 5 hours per unit. So how much I can produce maximum here? I can produce maximum 10,000 units. Finishing process. Finishing process. Number of hours available 60,000. Per unit you require 12 hours. So I can produce maximum 5,000 units. How to identify? You come back to the question, how to identify bottleneck activity? That activity which has got a minimum capacity or stock of work in progress or maximum utilization. Minimum capacity, maximum utilization. So I'm here having what calculation? Capacity, minimum capacity, finishing process. Okay, so finishing process here is the bottleneck activity. So write down cutting process has a capacity of 10,000 units. Cutting process has a capacity of 10,000 units, whereas finishing process has a capacity of only 5,000 units. Hence, the finishing process is the bottleneck activity. Is the bottleneck activity. Thus, cutting process will have an ideal capacity of 5,000 units. Why ideal capacity of 5,000 units? Because we are going to go as per the limitation. Limitation is what? That finishing process can process at a time only 5,000 units. So there is no point in going for 10,000 units in the first process, because then there will be WIP in the second process. So in the first process also I will limit my production to 5,000 only. But my first process, cutting process, has got a capacity of 10,000. If I reduce it to 5,000, the remaining 5,000 will be idle. Correct? Okay. Now let us take each option individually. So write down option 1. Option 1. Okay, let us see what is option 1 saying. Option 1 is saying, or proposal 1 is saying, an outside agency is willing to do the finishing operation of any number of units between 5,000 and 7,000 at 400 rupees per unit. Finishing operation. Limitation is there on the finishing operation. And the finishing operation has a limitation of only 5,000 units, whereas cutting can do 10,000 units. So cutting process has got a capacity of 10,000. Finishing has got a capacity of only 5,000. Okay. Now what they are saying is that outside agency is willing to do finishing operation of any number of units between 5,000 and 7,000 at 400 per unit respectively. Can I accept that or can I not accept that? Finishing has got a limitation, and because of that, cutting process, which has got a capacity of 10,000, I'm not able to utilize that. So what I can do is I can accept the outside agency's offer for processing another 5,000 units of finishing, so that my cutting process, I will input 10,000 units and get an output of 10,000. 5,000 out of that I will process in my factory. 5,000 I will give it to the outside agency. But now outside agency is going to charge me something. It is going to charge me 400 rupees per unit. Okay. So cutting process, see cutting process, if I put in 10,000, 5,000 I will do myself. Remaining 5,000 I am going to give to outsider, and they are going to charge me 400 rupees per unit. Right? So now what is happening? Now I'm getting a contribution of 600. So from that 600, another 400 will minus. So I will have only balance of 200. 200 into 5,000. So still I'm having 10 lakhs as profit. Still I'm having 10 lakhs as profit. Clear? That means even if I appoint an outside agency, pay 400 rupees to that, still I'm getting a benefit of 10 lakhs. So can I go ahead with the proposal? Answer is yes. Why not? Because we are getting additional contribution of 10 lakhs. Okay, write down. There you have written option 1, you write down. Since there is a spare capacity, since there is a spare capacity in the cutting process, the company can utilize the spare capacity. Company can utilize the spare capacity to earn additional contribution. To earn additional contribution equal to 1,000 minus 600 minus 400 equal to 200 per unit, equal to 200 per unit. Therefore, additional contribution would be 200 into 5,000 units. 200 into 5,000 units equal to rupees 10 lakhs. Equal to rupees 10 lakhs. Okay, let us see option 2. Option 2 says an outside agency is willing to do the cutting operation of 2,000 units at 200 rupees per unit. Cutting operation. I'm having already a spare capacity there, idle capacity there. Why will I go in for cutting operation? Do I need to go for further cutting operation? No, because my capacity itself is idle for 5,000 units. I'm having still a capacity of 5,000. So why will I hire an outside agency for 2,000 units? Not required. So write down option 2. Option 2. Cutting process already has a spare capacity. Cutting process already has a spare capacity of 5,000 units. Of 5,000 units. Therefore, outsourcing the cutting process will only increase the WIP. will only increase the WIP. Therefore, it is not feasible. Therefore, it is not feasible. Okay. Let us see option 3. Additional equipment for cutting. Again, it is saying cutting. Additional equipment for cutting can be bought for 10 lakhs to increase the cutting facility by 50,000 hours with annual fixed cost increased by 2 lakhs. I don't require additional capacity for cutting process. So again, that is not required. Instead, what I can do is I can utilize that amount of 10 lakhs for increasing the capacity of finishing process. Because there is the shortcome. There is a limitation. So instead of going for another cutting machine, which is senseless, I will go in for additional finishing process. Right now. Option 3. Option 3. By purchasing additional equipment, costing rupees 10 lakhs, for the cutting process, is of no use, because the cutting process already has spare capacity. The cutting process already has spare capacity. Full stop. However, it is suggested that this amount can be utilized. For increasing the finishing process capacity. Okay. So that is your question number 6. So again, sometimes you are asked practical questions, sometimes you are asked pure theoretical questions. So you just have to write the answers. No calculations are involved. Even if you go to see case studies, sometimes only theoretical questions are asked, as I have given to you yesterday. But sometimes practical questions, that is involving the numerical figures, are also asked in the case studies. So as and how the questions come, we will be dealing with it. Before I come to question number 7, we'll take a small break of 5 minutes, exactly 5 minutes, and we'll return. Break of 5 minutes. Sure. So we start. Let us come to question number 7. Cutlass company makes a product using 3 machines X, Y, and Z. The capacity of each machine is as follows. They have given for X, Y, and Z capacity per week in units, 800, 600, and 500 units. The demand for the product is 1000 units per week. For every additional unit sold per week, profit increases by 50,000 rupees. So you can underline that. Every additional unit sold per week, the profit increased by 50,000. Companies considering the following possible purchases, they are not mutually exclusive. What is the difference between the question number 6 and 7? Question number 6 says you have to consider each proposal independently. That means there cannot be combinations of first and second proposal or first and third proposal like that. There is no possibility. But here they are saying they are not mutually exclusive. That means you can have individual proposals evaluated plus combination of proposals evaluated. Okay. So for example, you are having purchase 1, purchase 2, purchase 3. That is option 1, option 2, option 3. So evaluate option 1 independently, evaluate option 2 independently, evaluate option 3 independently. After that, suppose you feel that neither of them are feasible independently, then take combinations. Option 1 plus option 2, option 1 plus option 3, option 2 plus option 3. Check all the possible combinations. Then option 1 plus 2 plus 3. That is also possible. So when they say not mutually exclusive, that is why I purposely took this, because I wanted to show the difference between question number 6 and question number 7. Because question number 6 says independently. So you can't have any combination of any of those proposals. But when I say not mutually exclusive, that means you can have more than one possible combination. So then how to evaluate and how to write the answers? Okay. First one, replace machine X with a newer model. This will increase capacity to 1100 units per week and cost 60 lakhs. Second option, invest in a second machine Y, increasing capacity by 550 units per week. The cost of this machine is 68 lakhs. And option 3, upgrade a machine Z at a cost of 75 lakhs, thereby increasing capacity to 1050 units. Now, what is the problem? The problem is, first I have to identify which of the 3 machines is a bottleneck. So, Satvika, can you tell me which of the 3 machines is a bottleneck here? Machine X or machine Y or machine Z?
Since the machine capacity is low.
So which machine has got minimum capacity? Machine Z. So can I say machine Z is a bottleneck activity? Yes or no? Or is it machine X? Yes, Ajita.
Machine Z, sir.
Machine Z. Sure, na? What is the reason?
Since the machine capacity is low.
Correct.
Per week.
Fine. So Z is the capacity of all the 3 machines. So we say that machine Z is a bottleneck as of now. As of now. Okay. Now suppose I replace machine X with a newer model. This will increase the capacity to 1100 units per week. So I'm writing down each of these 3 now, X, Y, and Z. Existing capacity is 800, 600, and 500. Now, option 1 says, replace machine X with a newer model. Okay, with a newer model, and we will have capacity increasing to 1100 units. So as for the first option, First option. This will increase to 1100, but this will remain 600. This will remain 500. Is there any use? Is there any benefit? There is no benefit because again my bottleneck activity remains machine Z, 500 units. Maximum output is restricted to 500 units. What do I require? I require 1000 units per week because demand is for 1000 units. Correct? So option 1 is of no use to me. Option 2 says invest in a second machine Y, increasing capacity by 550 units. So X will remain 800. Y will become 600 plus 550, 1150. Correct? Z will remain 500. So again, my production is restricted to 500. It is not increasing. It is restricted to 500. So option 2 is of no use to me. Let us see option 3 now. What does option 3 say? Option 3 says upgrade the machine at a cost of machine Z at a cost of 75 lakhs, thereby increasing the capacity to 1050 units. So if I go for option 3, this will remain 800, this will remain 600, this will become 1050. Is a problem solved? Problem is not solved again because now bottleneck will become machine Y. Again, I will have a bottleneck, and that will be machine Y, which will be restricting my production to 600 units. I want 1000 units. I want 1000 units. Problem is not solved because I'm not getting 1000 units, either with option 1 or with option 2 or with option 3. So let us see if I combine, if I get any results. If I combine, I'll just work it out below. I combine option 1 and 2, 1 plus 2. What will happen? In option 1, my X capacity increases to 1100. In option 2, my Y capacity increases to 1150, but Z remains as it is 500. Am I right? If I combine option 1 and 2, if I combine option 1 and 2, option 1 gives me increase in machine X to 1100 units. Option 2 gives me increase in machine Y to 1150 units. Okay. Option 3, options that is machine Z, still it is 500 units only. So my production is restricted to 500 units. Okay. What will happen if I combine 1 and 3? 1 and 3. 1 and 3 means X will increase to 1100. 3 means Z will increase to 1050. But 2 will remain as it is 600. 2 will remain as it is at 600. So now again, the bottleneck activity is machine. Which machine? Machine Y. So issue is not solved. Correct? Issue is not solved again because my requirement is of 1000 units. I am not getting 1000 units. So my production will be again restricted to 600 only. So what will happen if I do 2 and 3? If I do 2 and 3, X will be 800, Y will be 1150, Z will be 1050. Is my problem solved? No. Now X becomes a bottleneck activity. X becomes a bottleneck activity, restricting my production to 800 units. But I want 1000 units. Problem is not yet solved. So whether I take individual options, then also problem is not solved. If I take 2 at a time, then also it is not solved. Let us see what will happen if I take 1 plus 2 plus 3. 1 will be giving me 1100 units of X. 2 will be giving me 1150 units of Y. And 3 will be giving me 1050 units of Z. Okay, now my production is restricted to 1050, but still I am able to meet my demand of 1000 units. Correct? My demand of 1000 units is met if I combine all the three options taken together. So individually, it is of no use. Combining two proposals at a time also gives me no benefit. But I have to combine all the three options so that I get a benefit and I'm able to meet my demand of 1000 units per week. Okay, so problems are quite interesting here. You have to see and watch out for all the possible combinations. That is why when I say not mutually exclusive, the problem becomes a little bit more interesting to see what combination will give me the best possible output. So this is what is the difference between two problems which look similar but are not similar. And now this goes to show that every word in the problem is important. So in the first case, what was important? That we are considering the proposals independently. So I pointed out over here that it is independently. Only taken one at a time. We can't combine. In this case, what we have said, not mutually exclusive. Not mutually exclusive. So this is the difference between the two problems. Okay. So let us write down the answer. We'll have to write down each one of them. Taken individually 3 points, taken two at a time 3 points, and then one taken all at a time. So let us write down. So here my production is restricted to 800. Here my production is restricted to 600. Here it is restricted to 500. And here it is restricted to 1000. So let us write down. Point number one, write in point form. Point number one. In case machine X is replaced, in case machine X is replaced with a newer model, and increased capacity, of 1100 units, still machine Z will be the bottleneck activity, restricting production to 500 units. Restricting production to 500 units, comma, where the demand is 1000 units. Where the demand is 1000 units. Point number two. In case a second machine Y is purchased, which increases its capacity, to 1150 units, in bracket you write 600 plus 550, close the bracket. Still, machine Z will remain a bottleneck resource, restricting the production to 500 units, 500 units, where the demand is for 1000 units, where the demand is for 1000 units. Third point. Suppose machine Z is upgraded, increasing its capacity, 2050 units, then machine Y becomes the bottleneck activity. Restricting the output to 600 units. Whereas demand is for 1000 units. Point number 4. If machine X and Y are upgraded, then machine Z is a bottleneck activity. Restricting production to 500 units. Full stop. Continue the same point. If machine X and Z are upgraded, then machine Y becomes a bottleneck activity. And production is restricted to 600 units. Full stop. Continue the same point. If machine Y and Z are upgraded, then machine X becomes the bottleneck activity. Restricting the production to 800 units. Okay, that is your point number 4. Right, point number 5. From the above discussions, it is clear that none of the above options are feasible. Therefore, all 3 machines are to be purchased and upgraded. All 3 machines are required to be purchased or upgraded. Purchased or upgraded. In which case, the output will be restricted to the output will be restricted to 1050 units, 1050 units, and the demand for 1000 units per week is met. The demand for 1000 units per week is met. Okay. Are you clear now how to write the answer? Individually, if you are taking combination, then how to write the answer? We have seen both the situations now. Okay. Let us go to question number 8. A factory has a key resource, bottleneck of facility A, which is available for 31,300 minutes per week. 31,300 minutes per week. So this is the limitation. This is the maximum that you can use. Budgeted factory cost and data on two products X and Y are given. For X, the selling price is 35, material cost is 20, time in facility is 5 minutes. So contribution here 35 minus 20 will be 15. For machine Y, it is 35, selling price, material cost is 17.5. So this is going to be 17.5. And time in facility A, limitation 10 minutes. Budgeted factory cost per week is given to direct labor, indirect labor, power, depreciation, space cost, engineering and administration cost. Actual production during the last week is 4,750 units of X and 650 units of Y. Actual factory cost was 78,250. Calculate the total factory cost per factory minute, return per factory minute for both the products, TA ratios. We have not done TA ratios up till now. Throughput accounting ratios, PAR, for both the products, throughput cost per week, efficiency ratio, and utilization of actual minutes per week. All are asked. So first to calculate total factory cost. Okay. So let us see how to do this. Simple question. Right now, calculation of total factory cost. All the budgeted costs, you take the total budgeted cost. Direct labor, you have to show the working. 25,000. Indirect labor 12,500. Power 1,750. Depreciation 22,500. Space cost 8,000. Engineering cost 3,500. Admin cost 5,000. Total should come to 78,250. Check. So this is the first part. Second, they have asked you to calculate cost per factory minute. So total factory cost divided by total minutes available. Total factory cost is 78,250. Total minutes available 31,300. $2.5 per minute. Throughput per factory minute. Throughput is what? Returns. Returns is what? Contribution. Throughput is contribution. Correct? I told you this in the beginning. Throughput means contribution. So third one. Throughput per factory minute is equal to contribution per minute upon minutes in bottleneck activity. Okay, for product X now, contribution we have calculated 35 minus 20 was 15. 15 divided by it is spending 5 minutes per unit in the bottleneck activity, that is in the bottleneck activity. So it is going to be 3 rupees per minute. For product Y, contribution is 35 minus 17.5, so we got 17.5 there. And time spent in the bottleneck activity is 10, so it is 1.75. PA ratio. What is the formula? Throughput per minute now, not per hour, because in this problem it is per minute. Formula is for per hour, but here the question is per minute given. So throughput per minute of bottleneck resource or bottleneck activity divided by operational expenses per minute of bottleneck activity. This is a formula for TAR, throughput accounting ratio. So for product X, it is 3 by 2.5. Operating expenses cost we have got here, cost per minute, 2.5. So 3 by 2.5, that is equal to 1.2. For product Y, it is 1.75 by 2.5. That is 0.7. So here it is greater than 1, here it is less than 1. So from this you can say that product X is going to be profitable, product Y is not going to be profitable, product Y will result in a loss. Okay. So write down below this. Product X has got a TA ratio greater than 1. Product X has got a TA ratio greater than 1. Therefore, product X will result in profit. Product X will result in profit. Full stop. Product Y has a TA ratio of less than 1. Product Y has a TA ratio of less than 1. Therefore, product Y will result in a loss. Product Y will result in a loss. Then they have asked for, so we have done total factory cost, cost for the factory minute, return is throughput. Return here is throughput. Then TA ratio we have calculated. Now to calculate throughput cost per week. Throughput cost per week. Now per unit we have calculated 2.5. Correct? Per unit we have calculated as 2.5. Per unit we are producing 4,750 units of X per week and 650 units of Y per week. So 4,750 units I am producing, but my cost is calculated per minute. 2.5 is not per unit, it is per minute. So 4,750 units multiplied by how many minutes are required? 5 minutes. How many minutes are required? 5 minutes. So 4,750 into 5 plus 650 into 10 into 250, 2.5 into 2.5. Okay, so let us do this. Throughput cost per week is equal to 4,750 units into 5 minutes per unit plus 650 units into 10 minutes per unit. This multiplied by the cost 2.5 per minute. So this will give, I think, 23,750 plus 6,500 into 2.5. 29, 29, 30,250, 30,250 into 2.5. 75,625. Check the calculations. Okay. Now, sixth one, they have asked us for efficiency. Efficiency is throughput cost upon total factory cost into 100. My factory cost was estimated to be 78,250. Okay, we calculated that here, 78,250. But I have actually incurred a throughput cost of only 75,625. So what is the efficiency? 75,625 divided by 78,250 into 100. So 95.65% efficiency. And then they have asked for total factory minutes used also. Total factory minutes used. Budgeted was 31,300. But our efficiency is what? 96.65%. So we have used only 96.65% of the total time that is available. Available was 31,300, but we have not utilized entire 31,300. So 31,300 multiplied by 96.65%. So that will give me something like 30,251 units. Okay. Here. Okay. So we'll stop here for today. Tomorrow again, 7:30 to 9:30 we'll take. We'll continue with this. And mostly we'll complete this chapter tomorrow. And in the next session, after that, I will discuss your homework questions also with you. That is a case study. Right? So we'll stop here. Have a nice day. Take care. Bye. And
Thank you, sir.
You have to pay more concentration because your mind is diverted to something else.
Sir, one is laptop is in front of me, sir. That is why I looked right side. That is only one thing.
Because you are, not focusing on me, then that means there is somebody distracting you there.
Okay.